All right, folks, week one is almost in the books. We have two enormous games left to go. We got the Rams and the Lions going on right now. And tomorrow night, the 49ers host the Jets. Can't wait to see what Aaron Rodgers is going to do here after a couple years off after that Achilles injury. That'll be super interesting. Right now, Christian McCaffrey looks like he's questionable with his injury, but two exciting games left. But what a Sunday of football it was. I watched a ton of football. I ate a lot of pizza, and it was glorious to have football back on the TV, and it was so much fun. And there was a lot of bad quarterback play. There was a lot of really close games, but I want to take you through 5 things that really stuck out to me this weekend. So number one, Thursday night. The Chiefs are the best team in the NFL right now. Their defense was great for the first 3 quarters. They were pretty gassed there at the end, but I think that's common in week one. They'll work their way into that. And I thought their offense looked really sharp. And although this game came down to an inch, the toe being on the sideline, I thought the Chiefs could have put it away many times. And if you look at the game, they won by 7. It was really close, but Mahomes missed a touchdown or a drop there on the sideline, whichever way you see it, and he threw a terrible pick. And I thought they could have put it away many times. And I think this offense is only going to get better. And they have Hollywood Brown coming back here in a few weeks. And right now, to me, the Chiefs are the clear best team in the NFL. Number 2, the most shocking result today was the Bengals losing at home versus the Patriots. And if you look at the Bengals schedule, they got a lot of tough games. And this was one they absolutely had to have. In our Survivor League, almost 75% of the people picked the Bengals, and they laid an absolute egg today. Now, I know T. Higgins wasn't playing, but Jamar Chase did. And that was an embarrassing loss. This is one they needed. I don't know what it is with the Bengals, why they start so slow. So they only scored 10 points versus a defense in the Patriots that lost its 2 best defensive players in the offseason. But more embarrassing than that, 170 yards rushing given up to the Patriots. A team that basically has no wide receivers, and you know they're going to run the ball and try to run it with Jacoby Brissett being quarterback. That was an absolute embarrassing performance by the Bengals. I picked them to make a wild card spot, and that did not give me a lot of confidence that they're going to be in the playoffs. And they got to go to Kansas City next week. So they're staring at 0-2. And if you go 0-2, if you want to get one of those wild card spots, that means you have to go 10-5 the rest of the way. So this is a really bad loss for the Bengals, and that was pretty embarrassing, in my opinion. Number 3, all 3 rookie quarterbacks struggled big time today, which is expected. It's their first game they've ever played. But I thought all 3 were pretty terrible. You look at Bo Nix, 138 yards passing, 2 interceptions. Caleb Williams, 93 yards passing. Jaden Daniels, 184 yards passing. None of them could really do anything all day. And the Bears picked up the win in Caleb Williams' first start, but he really did not have a whole lot to do with it. They had a touchdown on a punt block. They had a touchdown on an interception return. And he really provided very little for them all game. Now, I thought their offensive line was pretty poor today. And that was my biggest concern with the Bears. As you know, I picked the Bears to make a wild card spot and make it to playoffs. But my biggest concern was their offensive line is still pretty weak. And it really showed today. It looked like Caleb was running for his life a lot. He got sacked several times, and it didn't look like they could get much going on the ground. So we'll see how these 3 rookie quarterbacks progress moving forward. It's expected that they struggle in their week 1 first game of the year in their career in the NFL, but I thought it was pretty lackluster from the 3 rookies, which I had pretty high hopes for. Number 4, I think the Cowboys and Steelers have the 2 best defenses in the NFL. Let's take a look at the Steelers. Kirk Cousins got a huge contract in the offseason for the Falcons. The Falcons got a lot of weapons. They couldn't do anything all day. Kirk Cousins threw 2 picks. He looked absolutely horrendous. And TJ Watt just absolutely wrecked that game. It felt like every single play, he was just disruptive. And they were all over Kirk Cousins all day long. And the Falcons looked absolutely terrible today. On the Dallas side of things, Deshaun Watson, 2 interceptions. Really kind of bottled up the entire Browns offense all day. And those 2 defenses, to me, looked really good. And on the Deshaun Watson thing, I don't know what they do with that guy. He looked absolutely horrible today. There were a couple plays where he had receivers running wide open, and he just missed them. There was a slant where they had an open receiver, and he threw it 2 yards behind him, a couple deep balls, and he just looks bad. And they're stuck with him now with his contract, and it's a pretty bad situation because I think they have a lot of talent around him. And number 5, the Jacksonville Jaguars. Man, they let me down. Again, I am high on the Jags. I projected them to make the playoffs, and they absolutely blew a huge game against the Dolphins. You look, if they would have won this game at Miami, beating a good team on the road to go 1-0 would have been a huge start. But they absolutely blew this game. Trevor Lawrence looked awesome in the first half. He made a lot of great throws. In the second half, they're about to go up 24-7. They fumble it through the back of the end zone on the 1 yard line. One play later, a deep ball to Tyreek Hill. And then they couldn't protect Trevor Lawrence the rest of the game. He was sacked 2 times in a row on their last possession, and they just couldn't get it going after that. And I thought this was an enormous loss for them, a game that they should have won and been off to a great start, but they didn't. So those are my thoughts from today, my takeaways. Can't wait to see what happens here tomorrow night with the 49ers and Jets, and we'll talk to everyone on Wednesday.